Okay, good evening, everybody. Got a new interview to share with you. I'm just waiting for the guest to end the session. Okay. Right. Yeah. Continue. Okay. So this is the third of my interviews. I intend these to be weekly. If you are interested in doing a joint live to be interviewed, you can message me privately and we can try arrange. It's something I want to do regularly to connect more, English teachers and other English language professionals, other uh, English speakers of different kinds, maybe different nationalities going forward. Waiting on today's guest. Trying to keep good variety. Already had two very different people. He's a third. Okay, good evening, Roberto.
Good evening, my mate, my dear friend Gareth. What's going on, man?
It's getting the end of the day, but I think it's a good time to be doing a live. People who aren't very into Big Brother probably would like something different to watch. Just to explain to everybody, this is a friend and colleague from language schools. The first three guests I actually know from the same place, but not everybody is going to be from the same place. And yeah, so Roberto, do you want to introduce yourself to the viewership?
I don't know if it's my connection or your connection, but it's a little bit lagging. But yeah, we are friends. Before everything, we are friends and have met each other in some moments. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
But I think that your connection is not so. I don't know if yours or mine.
I just have a little. Okay. I think mine's fine.
Can you hear me perfectly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Because your face doesn't always move, but
let me position my cell phone here because I'm cutting my head. Okay, I'm trying to hold on it. All right, so it's my pleasure, man, to be here. I wish the best things for you and your channel here on YouTube as well. So
this will be going on YouTube after. Oh. You're frozen again.
Gareth, maybe your connection.
My internet's fine. It's yours freezing.
Can you hear me perfectly?
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it can be my connection.
Yeah, using Wi-Fi. Yeah.
I'm here. I'm ready for your questions. Let's start.
Okay. A question I've asked both Leonardo and Praxedis as your good starting point is, could you explain to people here what made you interested in learning English to start with?
All right. Okay. I'm a Brazilian guy, so here in Brazil it's a little bit hard to try to speak in English. Especially if you depend on the public high schools.
Yeah.
I used to say that here in Brazil, the students from high schools, they are doctorate in verb to be because they can see verb to be from the last year in high school.
Yeah.
And about my situation was the same, but what got my attention to try to handle with English language was the music, especially the rock song. Yeah. So the first moment I tried to, when I thought I need I need to learn this language because this is going to be my tool to talk to the world.
Yeah.
And my very first experience trying to learn English was when I met a guy called André Matos. He's a Brazilian singer. He's no more between us because unfortunately he died 2 years ago. But he recorded an album in 1987 with
1987.
Viper. Yeah, 97. The name of the album is Soldiers of Sunrise, and the band is Viper. It's a heavy metal band from São Paulo.
Yeah.
So André Matos was 15 years old. And I thought to myself, yeah, this guy is amazing. He sings perfectly. He is able to handle with English. And I saw myself in that guy, you know, because as a Brazilian singer, of course, that at that moment, I didn't sing like I sing today. I was trying to start learning. So develop my singing skills. It's the same about my language skills. And I started trying to emulate him singing and, of course, speaking English. So I started learning English by emulating André Matos' voices, singing and speaking. So what is fantastic in this point is it was not a British band. It was not a North American band, you know. Any band from any native speaker country. What got my attention was a Brazilian guy singing English and speaking English. That's why I started trying to handle with that language. And what is really fantastic in that situation is, I'm so sorry about that, Gareth. I know that you are English, you are proud about your country. You must be proud because you have a perfect culture. Your country is amazing. You have amazing history. But English doesn't belong to a place anymore, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, so when I try to when I try to keep in touch with the language, to understand the tools, the skills, the origin, the development from the Roman Empire invasions, before the Vikings, the Saxons, the Angles peoples, the tribe there. You know, when I start studying these aspects, I understood that English is much more than flags. It's much more than boundaries and countries, you know. English is a phenomenon that can really unite the world. I'm totally in love with English language. And every single day since I was 16 years old, I try to improve my skills about English. So I started by emulating, singing, and speaking like André Matos. In 2006, I made my exam to enter at university. So I studied at UFBA, Letras Vernáculas in Língua Estrangeira Moderna, say vernacular letters and foreign language, modern foreign language, and my language, of course, my chosen language was English. I kept in touch with French as well, but I'm not able to speak French. But
I did French
when I got
a long time in the past.
Do you? Yeah. And so what is really important at the moment, because when I tried to handle English, of course, in the beginning, the way that I used to work with the language was translating the lyrics of the rock bands. So I tried to, because I didn't have internet, as you know, as we have nowadays. I'm talking about the year. The year was 1995.
1995. Yeah, the internet went around then.
Yeah,
I was only 45 then as well. So my first memories of using the internet, I was older than 10, so the 2000 and something.
That's it.
Well, so internet wasn't a thing. So it's so easy for example, to find music now. It's so easy if you want music in English, or for me, if I was trying to use music to study Portuguese, which is the other way around, it'd be easier to do now. YouTube, you know, it's what comes on the radio. It was what it was then. MTV, if you've got cable TV, you get MTV as well. But you know, if you got we call terrestrial TV in England, That's the free-to-air television, as it was when I was a child before. Preview boxes now have more things on, but the free television doesn't have music channels. So it'd be where you found on your radio until YouTube came along. Something I make material for now and use a lot for entertainment.
Everything.
Yeah, it changed everything.
That's it.
Yeah. It's so much easier to study languages now.
Nowadays, it's a piece of cake to handle with that. But at the time, it was hard. The way that I started trying to handle the language was translating using the physical dictionary. And
a real book one.
My teachers, the real one, and asking my teachers, in high school, is it wrong? Is it right? What is wrong? What is right? I didn't know, for example, how to handle with the technical aspects. Like there is a sentence. I remember that, especially that one. There is a song, a Viper song called "Soldiers of Sunrise." Yeah, there is a sentence. The sentence is, God will look after my soul.
Yeah.
So when I try to translate, God will look after my soul. Of course, I didn't know about these technical aspects. Phrasal verb, it was bad word for me. I thought, okay, God will look after. I translated wrongly, like God will look beyond, look after. I didn't know that
the metaphorical aspect.
Metaphorical aspect. So look after is the same of take care of. Take care of is another phrasal verb explaining another phrasal verb. So that was so fantastic when I started discovering these aspects of English. So English is not a language that we can understand word by word. You must go into details to contextualize
for every language.
Every time. Yeah.
I remember, now, one thing that's advanced a lot is Google Translate. It's still not perfect. It's still not the best way of doing things. But I remember if you attempted Google Translate when I was at school studying French, it wouldn't conjugate verbs. It would always be incorrect. Everything you got through it, you could... If I ever snuck through a little paragraph on Google Translate and handed it to my French teacher, it'd be full of mistakes. And, you do learn a few things when you get these mistakes corrected and you get the feedback, but now it conjugates better. But still not 100% accurate. You'll never beat the old-fashioned learn the language properly instead of trying to use Google to cut corners. So, this band
is a real problem.
This band you speak of's maybe not internationally famous, but they were the band that made you interested in English. What other bands were very important then? Just for people to get a better idea of the sort of music you like,
all right,
sort of music you make as well.
All right, as I told you, the first contact with heavy metal music, because of course when I was outside, I used to listen to Brazilian songs. And something about English music, it was something like related to Elton John songs, maybe North American pop songs, because they were spread around the world at the time. They play so much on the radio. But when I started learning English, it was when I tried to handle and learn the language. I was listening Viper and Angra, two Brazilian bands, but with the same singer. André Matos was the singer. So he is the man. He's the main reference of my life in music, and as I told you, the way to handle with English language. André Matos was able to speak 6 languages. But for me, it's okay, just
very smart guy.
Yeah.
6 is a lot of languages.
6 languages, But for me, it's okay just speaking English, because for me, what I really need is the way that I want to express myself. English can help me, so I'm so satisfied in that moment. And I also like opera.
Opera.
opera song. So yeah, I study some aspects of opera as well. So and I need to handle with different languages. But the one that's it when I talk about English, the importance of English. There is one author that I really love, and he composes in English. So not no more. He used to compose in English. You know, I don't know if you know. Of course, you must know Henry Purcell. Do you know him?
Yeah, I heard the name, but I'm not familiar with the work.
Yeah, Henry Purcell is an author from Baroque music, Baroque period, and he is amazing composer. So he used to compose to castrats, so the high voices, the way that I sing,
Yeah,
and I love his songs. I love his arias. So Henry Purcell is an English composer in that area that I really love. But talking about bands, heavy metal bands, of course, Iron Maiden is the first reference. Iron
yeah.
Maiden is the best band around the world ever. I know that
I don't know
you
if
like,
it's
but
best band. Yeah, but I don't like Iron Maiden. I'm not.
yeah,
If I'm going to say best British heavy metal band of the past, I would go straight to Black Sabbath as being the one.
yeah,
Mainly because of the
Black Sabbath is
guitarist. I, I don't know how many people would agree with me, but I think it's maybe Britain's second best ever guitarist, Tony Iommi. I would only have
mm-hmm.
Jimmy Page ahead of him. Uh, that's my opinion.
Led Zeppelin guitar.
Feel free to disagree with me if you think anybody is a better British guitarist than Jimmy Page or Tommy Iommi. Put in the
No, yeah.
comments.
No, Black Sabbath is Tommy Iommi is perfect. It's one of the most important bands in
Yeah,
the metal scene, of course.
yeah.
There is a
And he did
movement
that with two
called
bits of finger missing. He had two bits of finger missing, and then still managed to become one of
yeah.
the all-time
Mhm.
great guitarists with bits of finger missing.
That's it.
Quite impressive.
This aspect makes him a different guitar player. This aspect, the finger
Yeah,
missing,
the
because
sound's a bit different.
when he plays, the sound is different. That's it. So yeah, but Queen is a band that I really love as well. Queen, in my opinion, is the very best rock band ever. Freddie Mercury is like God, you know, from the voice. And there is another band called Journey. Is a North American band with Stevie Perry, the
Yeah.
lead singer, amazing as well. So yeah, these are the main reference of my life. So
We've got
Halloween
Deep
is a
Purple. Jeez, is that Deep Purple
Deep
being the
Purple.
best band? Yeah, the classic band.
It's my wife.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. Said Deep Purple.
she,
Let's just mention the
she,
good band. You know,
yeah,
we
Deep
shouldn't
Purple is
try to
amazing as
claim.
well.
Yeah, and they're all from us.
She said, she,
In that era, so we're talking the end of the 60s, the 70s predominantly, Birmingham, central west, you'd say as a Brazilian, we'd say Midlands, so the middle chunk of England. So the West Midlands, nobody beats Chimbinha. You keep talking. I don't know who Chimbinha is, but okay. I'm not saying.
is the what is the nobody beats Chimbinha when keep talking.
Okay.
Chimbinha.
I don't know who Chimbinha is, so I can't argue with that.
you know Chimbinha is a guitar hero from Brazil. He used to
Okay.
play in a band called Calypso. Chimbinha,
I'll have to have a little look.
There is no.
I'll have to have a little look on YouTube and see if we can find some music videos of him. But as I was saying, the West Midlands, as we say, or that'd be the centre west of England, city Birmingham especially, this region
Birmingham.
probably that's where Led Zeppelin were from, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Slade, another band. My father-in-law has several of their albums, so I think they must be known in Brazil. There's a lot of very good rock bands in this era there.
Iron Butterfly is from that region, I think so.
I don't know. A little Google search, probably decide that. Iron Maiden are from London. I thought you were about to say Iron Maiden when I heard the word iron, but yeah, they're from London, area called Leighton, It's East London. Same place as David Beckham. So that area of London's sort of fame is one very famous footballer and one heavy metal band, which is enough for one suburb of London, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. That region is quite England itself. There is a movement, I don't know if you know, called New Wave of British Heavy Metal. Do you know that?
It's probably not very new anymore, but I know about it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Bands from 80s, so Iron Maiden,
Yeah,
Samson,
yeah,
Motorhead, and
yeah.
Judas Priest. This kind of band. So
Yeah,
this
Judas
movement
Priest, that's
started
another
there.
one from Birmingham.
Yeah. hmm So
So,
England is as I told you, you have a so rich culture, your country.
yeah,
Not the
it's,
kingdoms. United Kingdom itself is an amazing place. It's an amazing place.
yeah,
Ireland, Wales. You
I
must
think,
tell that you are from Wales. Your family is from
yeah,
Wales.
my
So
mum
you
and her
probably
side of the family are all Welsh predominantly, so I probably got as many Welsh relatives as English ones. Yeah.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think there's a few of your friends in
Yeah,
here talking rock and roll. That was to be expected.
some
I
friend,
think
some
I didn't realize how much of a big deal our music was before I moved to Brazil. I thought, yeah, I like our music. People in our country like our music. I didn't think uh, people who don't speak English would also like our music. Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
this was very wrong in the end. I didn't realize how
Because
widespread a lot of our music is, and there's some quite big surprises with some bands that are actually more popular here than there. I mentioned this when I was talking to Prachedes that Led Zeppelin were more commercially successful in Britain than the Beatles were. Of course, both are popular in England. Uh, both are to an extent popular here, but the Beatles seem to be more popular outside of Britain than inside.
they are, they are
Another
super
one I
popular.
was a big surprise was Pink Floyd. Well respected and remembered, but they're huge in Brazil. Really, really popular. Like, it's a surprising level of popular. I always knew they were good. They were a good band in that era, but I didn't realize
But
anybody outside of Britain had listened to them. But
but
that's
why
how
do you
they
think
came.
that you don't you have these informations there that
Yeah,
the
yeah, we
bands from
do.
there are so spread around the
I, you don't always think about it. You think, this band's good. Or you're like, yeah, the Rolling Stones are good. Yeah, the Beatles are good. Yeah, Led Zeppelin are good. You don't go think, you know what? I think all those people in Brazil listen to these too. Nobody would think that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
Yeah. So
another one
I
that's,
remember I remember once we were talking about music, and you said that you prefer Gilberto Gil than Paul McCartney. I said, man, why are you talking about that, man? Why do you prefer Gilberto Gil
uh,
than
I
Paul
think
McCartney?
it's not a criticism of Paul McCartney. I do like him. He's good. It was Gilberto Gil I said was better than him. It wasn't some random average musician. He's arguably the best in Brazil. So I wouldn't say Paul McCartney's number one in Britain. He's good, but yeah. What I like more about Jill is one,
Mhm.
I think he's got a better voice. He's uh, having seen them both
You
live.
disagree?
Um, Seeing them both live, Gilberto Gil's far more charismatic. Uh, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of music that's similar to Paul McCartney, but not heard as many people similar to Gilberto Gil. And my opinion of Gilberto Gil improved a huge amount when I'd seen him live. Just videos on YouTube or him appearing on the radio. Um, it doesn't do him justice to like if you go to a show he's playing at. It's just the difference in quality and experience is a big jump. So I don't think there's anything strange about liking him. I don't see why anybody wouldn't be a fan of him. Also, another thing that's more specific to me, I've always really enjoyed reggae, especially Bob Marley, who Gilberto Gil also a big fan of. And I like the way I do like reggae being incorporated into other music. So I'm also a big fan of The Clash. They were quite big on incorporating reggae into rock music. I think reggae is such a good, versatile music genre that it can be kind of mixed with everything. I think Brazilians do some quite interesting things with reggae.
Yeah.
And I think he does it very well.
Reggae.
Yeah, there is a lot of. I didn't expect to hear any reggae in Brazil actually before I came here, because reggae is Jamaican folk music fundamentally. So you think, yeah, that's in Jamaica. Popular in England because there's a huge number of Jamaican immigrants in Britain relatively. So we do have a lot of their cultures quite close to ours. Yeah, there was this, but I don't think that's what made the music. For example, Bob Marley lived in London for a while. He got shot in Kingston Town and he left. And he did record some of his music in England. So, of course, you get music from all over the world in England in theory, but the fact he was in England a while, I think, really cemented him as a superstar. And he's famous in the whole world. But I didn't expect Brazilians to listen to reggae or make their own reggae. But yeah, this is one of those things you discover when you go somewhere is what it's really like. It's not always your expectation.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, reggae here is so popular as well. Roberto Gil is one of the most important Brazilian artists ever. But maybe Paul McCartney here is bigger than Gilberto Gil.
He's probably a bigger name. I mean, he's better. For example, the best one of the Beatles was George Harrison. He was the best musician in the band. Obviously, he's dead now, so you can't see him instead. But everyone's got their opinion and say their favourite one of them. I think everyone would pick out one who's the best. I would say George is a better musician. That's a good reason. Paul McCartney is famous for being a very nice guy. One thing you might not believe, when I used to work in a gym in England, I was doing an induction. So an induction is when you show people how to use all the equipment. The gym inductions like that, you'd be, this is how this machine works. It's a health and safety regulation that you need to follow. But this one guy was a dancer. He was, I was saying, I need to bulk up a bit. They don't like skinny dancers very much, the people who pay the jobs. He was saying he studied at Paul McCartney's School for Performing Arts. So Paul McCartney did invest a lot of money in making a performing arts school in Liverpool. So he is actually quite a generous guy, giving a lot of his money away. So he's probably the nicest guy from the Beatles. Yeah. But anyway, what was funny was he was saying that he was telling other people about when he studied dance at Paul McCartney's Performing Arts School. And there was people who asked him who Paul McCartney was. So there's genuinely some people in Britain who don't know who Paul McCartney is. Not quite sure how. It's kind of famous, but yeah. I did teach a teenager an English class at one other school I was briefly at. He didn't know either the song Mascanada or Garota de Panama, and they're the only two Brazilian songs that are very well known internationally. So it's like, you show you're Brazilian, but you don't know these two songs. It seems quite bizarre because Brazilian music I do like. It's not easy to access in England, so the first Brazilian song I ever heard was Mascanada, the Sergio Mendes. This was it became popular in England 2002.
Yeah.
So Brazil last won a
No,
football
before.
World Cup. That's when it was popular in England. It might have been another time before that.
Yeah.
But it became popular this
But
time.
before that, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Maybe
it's a
during the
really old song.
70s, he was popular. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was popular in England this time. So I remember it being on the
In
radio
the
quite
United
a bit.
States.
So, yeah, it's been. But I think it was helped by Brazil winning the Football World Cup. And that really sort of pushed that up. If you ask an old person in England, they probably remember Bossa Nova. There's a duet you can probably find on YouTube.
And about Raul Seixas.
Raul Seixas, I've only heard here. I think he should be famous everywhere because I think he's unique. You can't really say he'd be like somebody else there. He has a personality of an Ozzy Osbourne, Keith Richards character, but his music's completely. I don't even know what you call his music. It's its own category. But yeah, Raul Seixas was somebody I got into quite quickly in Brazil.
Yeah. He is amazing. He was the first experience that I had with rock and roll music when I was a child. I had a cousin who used to listen to him, and I was raised listening to Raul Seixas songs, and it was fantastic because at the time I didn't understand everything that he was trying to sing in his lyrics, but according to the years passing by, I started, okay, Raul is amazing. He's trying to talk to the heart, someone else's heart, not only to the reason, So Raul is quite important for me, and of course to the rock and roll in Brazil.
Yeah.
Just one second. I'd like to give a kiss to my drummer player. He's in here.
Yeah, your drummer.
Cardinale. Jean Cardinale.
Yeah. We have the Brazilian bottom.
So much drum. Yeah, it's my power metal band called Eigenflame. The name is German English, Eigenflame. But
so,
he's here looking for us.
Why not? The Germans really do love heavy metal. There's Rammstein. Is Lamb of God German as well?
But they sing in German.
Rammstein sound very German.
I'm not able to understand. Yeah,
I'm not able to understand all heavy metal in English because you have these like Korn or Slipknot, where it's the ones we call screamo in England, where it's just shouting and screaming down the microphone with the heavy metal music. Rather than the sang heavy metal, that'd be more like Black Sabbath, even Metallica. If you're going to talk about North Americans, there's more than one type of heavy metal, so it's not all the same. And as I said with Praschetti's before, as I shared with Praschetti's before, and I'll say with you again, there's nothing more annoying than those type of people who say they like all music, but then when you stick on some Black Sabbath, they don't like heavy metal. You don't like all music, you don't like heavy metal. Nobody likes all music. This is lies.
And também don't consider Black Sabbath as a heavy metal band. They say they play rock and roll only.
I think what's considered heavy metal then and what is now is a bit different.
It's a little bit different, yeah. It's darker than heavy metal. It's heavier than heavy metal.
Yeah. It's one thing that'll be
and darker.
One thing that's a bit different in people's definitions. In England, people would consider older people who were actually alive when it happened would consider the Beatles a pop band. Nobody would call them a pop band anymore, but that's because of how pop music's changed. Pop music's not people playing instruments, so people see instruments now, and it's rock automatically. Even though that was considered pop, I think if the Beatles were to start now, they'd be a pop rock band.
But what's the conception of pop?
It used to be Beatles. Now it's obviously deteriorated a lot. So if you look at Britain's pop band, big pop band of each era, it could have been those the Beatles then, and it's turned into One Direction. Come on. That's cultural decline.
Yeah, One Direction. No.
It was considered a pop band, you know, the pop band of the 1960s to a pop band of last decade. You know, you can see a lot of differences. There's similarities, as in
Yeah,
a group of boys. It's manufactured. It's to be cool. There's screaming girls everywhere. The big difference is the Beatles had instruments and made music that's worth listening to. The main difference,
yeah.
yeah. um,
Scream.
and someone finds this video 20 years in the future, people will still know who the Beatles were, and nobody will know One Direction were. But
One
yeah,
Direction is the end. Yeah,
um,
but
flashing the pan.
when I listen to the word pop, I think something that can be spread everywhere.
Yep,
So, for example, Iron Maiden can be popular because they sell so much.
yep,
So, but they are not popular in the sense that, okay, you can listen to Iron Maiden playing the FM radios. They are not able to play on FM radios. They
too
are
many
able to
people don't like
play
real music.
the one, yeah. So,
Kerrang
what is
radio, to
popular?
be on.
Popular is something that can be, yeah, can play on the radio, can appear on TV every time, on soap operas, movies.
Yeah,
That's what I think is popular. So Beatles was popular, of course. If you
yep,
think about Elvis, Elvis was popular. I don't know if that time they were, but if you think about nowadays, they are.
yeah,
So popular, bring this kind of meaning. So something that
yeah.
can be spread.
When
Yeah.
I think of pop music, first thing that pops in my head, excuse the pun, is Michael Jackson. That's what I would say. Ah, that's pop music.
Yeah,
That's kind of the gold
the
standard.
very
But
best example.
yeah, I'm not really
Mhm.
into what's said pop music, but Michael Jackson's a bit of an exception because he's the king of pop. He's the top of the pile.
That's it.
Anyone else in, I would say, is pop is somebody who will be popular for a while and gone. That's why they're not the king.
Yeah. To compare
Um,
with Michael Jackson, I don't think so. There is none. But we can say, for instance, no, there isn't any because he brings the real meaning of being popular
yep,
in the music itself, and in the context to spread the music everywhere.
yep.
So he's the
He's
very best example of being popular.
he's yeah, he's still maybe as popular as he was when he was alive. Now, so he's somebody who'll be
Yeah.
timeless. MPB, Sepultura. How about a Sepultura? They're
Sepultura, Sepultura is something interesting because I have a friend. He's from Belarus, and he's a musician there. So Belarus is a country from eastern part of the world.
yeah,
It's
Eastern
closer
Europe,
to
yeah,
Russia.
ex-Soviet
Yeah.
Union
So
place.
that's it. And he started learning English after they met Sepultura songs. So a Brazilian band inspired him to learn English. The same situation that happened to me. A Brazilian guy inspired me to learn English. So you see, it's so Sepultura is so big, so giant that a band from eastern part of the world, in a distant place, is inspired on them to study English and play heavy metal. So Sepultura is like
Yeah,
a phenomenon, you know. It's something like it can appear just once in 100 years.
yeah,
So it's something so different.
it is quite strange. I think. Why do you think it's so common for people from maybe countries that don't have English as a first language for them to release music in English? So, a couple of examples being ABBA, being Swedish, only singing in English. Uh,
Scorpions
Aha, yeah,
from
Scorpions.
German,
Aha, yeah. Aha from
Aha,
Denmark, don't sing in
yeah,
Danish. Um,
Roxette, Sweden as well.
yeah. So there is a few. There are
Yeah.
people who
Oh, there's
believe
more.
that music sounds better in English than other languages. Do you think that's true, or do you think this is the? I think it's the thought that something needs to break the USA to be successful everywhere.
Yeah,
I
the
think
question
that sets a lot of standards globally.
is spread the message, spread the message, you know? And there is also the aesthetical aspect. For example, heavy metal is a music, is a kind of music created to sing in English. I think so. Of course, there are Brazilian bands that can sing in Portuguese. There are Spanish bands singing in Spanish language, but it doesn't sound so perfectly as we sing heavy metal sang in English. It's
Yeah,
like you try to sing samba in another language. It's not the
yeah.
same
I wonder what samba
because
in English would
samba
sound
was
like. That sounds
I
weird.
don't know samba in English. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know. I never heard.
you'll hear the girl
Must
in
be
Ipanema
funny.
version of Garota de Ipanema in English, and that kind of works. But I think that's coincidental. I think bossa nova kind of works in English as well as Portuguese, maybe other languages.
Bossa,
But
Bossa Nova is okay, I think so.
yeah, I think
Frank
that works in
Sinatra
other
started
languages.
with that. Yeah. But
Yeah,
samba, the real samba, the one from Rio de Janeiro, I don't think that is aesthetically possible. Possible it is, of course, but
yeah, you could try
no,
it.
it
It
doesn't.
might sound a bit
It's not.
weird.
Yeah, so
I think
yeah,
if it was
so
somebody
weird.
heard
Yeah.
it who'd never heard real Brazilian samba and it was in English, maybe it wouldn't be that weird for them. But I think
Oh,
if I heard it now,
I'll
it'd be
try.
weird. Hey, come here, try and make some
I'll
English
try it.
samba. But yeah, I guess it's that. I think maybe opera, it's not in Italian, maybe sounds a bit weird to people who are used to it being there.
Yeah,
So,
Italian and German are the main languages to opera, but there are some artists in English, as I told you. Henry Purcell wrote so many arias in English language. But yeah, opera was created in Italy, so Italian is the main
yeah, that's supposed
language.
to sound most normal, isn't it? Uh,
Mhm. But
so
German and French are also strong languages in opera.
there is a chance for you, as I like to have for whoever the guests are, for a bit of shameless self-promotion. So if you would like to discuss the bands you're involved with
What's the
now,
name? What's the
uh,
name?
uh, it's just a chance for you to discuss and give a little advert for the bands you are now involved with or shows you have upcoming to say, this is my band. Links can be put in the description of the video and on YouTube for those who want to listen to what you have. So if you want to discuss with us all which bands you are currently involved with.
Okay, I can search for my name there, Roberto Índio,
Yeah,
and
please.
there I have the links. So Eigen Flame is my power metal band.
Yeah,
There are two guys from Minas Gerais, one guy from Paraná, and I am from Salvador. So it's a Brazilian band. And there
yeah,
is
sounds
also
very
the Inner
Brazilian.
Call. Inner Call is from Salvador. All the guys live here in Salvador. It's a heavy metal band. We make autoral music. We write our music. And I also have three tribute bands like André Matos Band, Halloween, and Iron Maiden. So
Ah,
I have
that's
this
quite a
job.
selection.
And
I will
what?
I will be
Ah,
requesting a list of Instagram profiles for all these bands just to post in the description when this video is saved afterwards. So you'll be able to access
all right.
the work that Roberto's involved with. It'll also be in the bio on YouTube when it's there. So it's just these interviews that I'm doing, or Instaviews, They have cool little names for things on the internet now. Uh, has a few purposes. One, it's to have some content that people can use to improve their listening skills, different English language conversations with different people. It's also a chance for cultural exchange. So if somebody's involved with music or theatre or anything else. It's my second heavy metal singer. I assure you not all of my friends and colleagues are heavy metal singers, unfortunately, but it's a chance to hear more English language material. It's a chance of various English language professionals to mix their following and share information and stories that can inform and entertain people. I think it's necessary to have these things to grow as a English language person. And I think you could have these lives in Portuguese with a few things to say. I understand this would be very complicated for people of very basic level English to understand, but native teachers usually get the following of more advanced learners, and that's what we do. Maybe sometime in the future I'll have another native on here, but not yet.
Yeah, you're right. So don't worry about live in Portuguese because we need to spread English here in Brazil. Only 5% of Brazilian people have contact with English language, so you need to spread this information to them. So as more as we can speak in English, we can show English to them. It's quite important because English can change someone else's life, I believe. So for us here in Brazil, for me, it's quite important to spread this situation.
Yeah.
And don't try to speak Portuguese. You can continue speaking English.
Yeah. I think one of the things about learning a new language is the cultural things you find in that country. A huge amount of art, be it two things I really enjoy about Brazilian culture. Well, if I'm going to say the three main things, it'd be food, which I say about pretty much everywhere I go, so it's not that specific. There's always good food everywhere. That's always something you're going to enjoy. Brazil's not too strong on the beer, but it's improving. That doesn't mean I've quit drinking beer. That'd be crazy. I do like a cachaça here and there, but the two things that are very good in Brazil,
you know, Bahia. Bora Bahia, minha porra.
Yep. First sentence I learned in Portuguese. The two things that are really good, I'd say, is music and cinema. Some very, very... I didn't expect cinema to be so strong in Brazil, but there is some very, very good films. I really enjoyed watching... for example, I've managed to watch some films without any subtitles. I remember there was something my wife did that meant we had Global Play for the first time, and we had a look for film to watch. And I watched Carangiru without subtitles. It's quite tough to do, but it was worth it. It was a very good film.
There's some slangs. The slangs are so
yeah.
There.
The first for those in Brazil who don't know, City of God or Cidade de Deus, as you call it, is very, very successful globally. So this film's very popular in England. So if you say you're Brazilian in England, or you talk about Brazil to an English person, they're either a football fan, I'll talk about you good footballers, happens a lot, or the people who are really into cinema will talk about City of God because it was very successful. I would even say it's possibly the most successful non-English language film in Britain in my lifetime. So there's some very good French films that have been successful in Britain. But I don't think there's been a foreign language film that's been more critically acclaimed and as popular as City of God or Cidade de Deus, anyone else paying enough attention. It's a literal translation, so it's nothing complicated.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I found quite difficult. I learned some bad words watching that film. Anyway, classic cinema.
So many.
Yeah.
So
I
many.
generally I think Wagner Moura is one of the best actors in the world. I've become quite a big fan of him because everything he's been involved in, I've watched, been really good. Really enjoyed Tropa de Elite or Elite Squad. He's the main drug dealer there. So Wagner Moura, for anybody who's English watching this, maybe, is practically Brazilian Al Pacino and Scorsese kind of into one. So he's pretty much a really good gangster actor. I need to see some more of his stuff, and he's a director as well. He does a lot of stuff. So
he's better actor. He's better actor. I don't know. He's a director. He just made a movie right now recently, but I prefer him acting, because he's a perfect
you've probably got a bigger sample of good work there.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe Robert De Niro and Al Pacino banged into one and made Brazilian. That's what you got. So yes,
that's it.
The cinema, what a big thing. I think as far as gangster films, I think Brazilian gangster films are the best. You know that Scorsese films, very good. Do enjoy them. He's got his usual band of gangsters. He's got Joe Pesci, who's probably my favorite North American actor.
No, never. I have never seen. But I know Scorsese, but these ones I don't remember if I have seen.
These actors, they're some good fellas. I really do like Joe Pesci. He's really funny in all these gangster films. Oh, Wagner Moura is also from Bahia. Didn't realize.
No, he's not Bahia. He's Vitória. He's Vice.
Yeah. I didn't have him down as being such a loser, but anyway.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
He's from Bahia. He's from the state.
He is from Salvador. Yeah, he's from Salvador. He was raised here. He was born. He was raised here.
Yeah.
He has when he speaks English very well, but he carries with him this not accent, but the way of being Baiano everywhere,
Yeah.
So
I could imagine he does get work in Hollywood, doesn't he? So I imagine if they had a Latin American gangster role, he'd be like the top guy they'd pick every time.
Speaking that English, it's amazing. It's like
He should be in the next Scorsese film. He should be an extra gangster. I think he should be in it. If you watch your mind, Scorsese, you have his number somewhere.
Send me after the names of these movies for me to check it. Check them.
Yeah. Scorsese's got a lot of good films. So I do enjoy his. There's some good British gangster films. A guy who makes a lot of them, who's probably English Scorsese, is called mine's got blank. His name. Makes all there's a lot of gangster films that are set in London, and it's why have I forgotten his name? Guy Ritchie. He did a film called Snatch. It's quite famous. So some of these, Rise of the Foot Soldier might have been him. There is some sort of there's Peaky Blinders, which I've not seen, which is based in Birmingham, as British gangster TV program rather than film. So yeah, we do have some good ones ourselves, but I really do think the Brazilian gangster films are the best ones. I think there's certain things that put in that the Americans wouldn't. For example, yeah, they do have graphic violence there, but for example, there's a scene in City of God where the children shoot someone. They wouldn't put that in a film there. Children shoot people every week in the USA, but it doesn't end up in a film. It seems kind of more honest, the Brazilian cinema. I think it's a bit more artistic. I think sometimes the cinema of the USA is a bit more... It's definitely cheesier. It's always cheesier. But it's more based around special effects.
They have they have Hollywood there for them. It's better. They have Hollywood there.
Yeah, they have a lot of toys to play with, so I don't think they use as much creativity with the general art side of cinema. They have the pretty cool effects, so I do quite often watch the superhero films they make, just so I don't sound like I hate everything they make in the USA. That's not the case. I was saying how Brazilian films are better, but yeah. The special effects they have there are really, really good. They always have the best technology, best special effects. I think that makes them maybe be a bit lazier with creativity in terms of camera angles and scripts and plots. There's too many cheesy, impossible happy endings. You know, the good guys can all die. There was one film that pleasantly surprised me from the USA, and it was the penultimate Avengers, when Thanos managed to destroy the whole world. And no, he didn't destroy the whole world. He managed to wipe out a certain percentage of the world. So he actually manages to succeed. Yeah. People should have seen this film already.
Don't worry. Don't mind about it.
Yeah. But Thanos succeeded in his great act of evil, and then it stopped. I'm like, has a US based film company actually let a bad guy win? You know, there's not some cheesy. Yeah, the bad guy actually won. The next film he didn't. I managed to catch him in the next film. But he actually managed to wipe out a big percentage of the human race and do his evil doings. You know, that doesn't usually happen. I really did kind of enjoy the fact that happened, even if the next film kind of made the good guy win again.
Yeah, I know that. I got it. But yeah, here in Brazil, nowadays we are living a good situation for the cinema. Not with this government, but years ago.
Yeah.
For example, that moment that Cidade de Deus was created, was filmed. Yeah. The cinema here in Brazil was living a better situation than nowadays.
Yeah.
You know? And we hope that it can be better again.
I think it can be. If it just needs people in charge of the country who respect Brazilian culture. If you respect your own country's culture, you'll respect the art and you'd invest in it. It's something generally right-wing politicians or whatever country don't respect creativity or art. In fact, they don't respect science either. I don't know what they respect. They have a disregard for the arts. And you think, if you've got a disregard for the arts, maybe you want to invest a lot in science and respect the scientists. Not half these idiots are anti-vaxxers. Maybe if they had some kind of book in their hand, you know, be it a science one or a more creative, imaginative book, maybe they won't be doing so much stupid things, doing so much stupidity. But, you know.
He's a jerk.
Yeah. Did you watch O Alta de Compadecida from Ariano Suassuna? Suassuna.
Yes, many times. I have seen it many times.
I've heard this film's name, but I've not seen it yet. Is it on Netflix or Global Play? Where would I find this?
You can find it on YouTube.
It's on YouTube in full. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I watched Mina Maya Pesa on YouTube. I think I've seen 3 of them, just one after the other. I think it was Mother's Day, and they were Small Life's family were talking about there being a newer Mina Maya Pesa. I'd seen none of them, and I think in the end I ended up sat in front of the TV and watched 2 or 3 of them films, one after the other. Mm-hmm. I thought the first one was more funny than the others, but there were no subtitles.
Yeah.
And maybe it might be my concentration, only understanding jokes for the first one, and then my brain getting tired, or it's just better. If anyone in the comments...
And about the language?
It's not easy to understand Brazilian comedy. I'm not saying Brazilians aren't funny, but it's not very easy for me to understand Brazilian comedy. When I was studying French and my French was at a higher level, I understood French comedy easier. I don't know if that was just me studying more and paying more attention, or whether their sense of humor is closer to ours in Britain. Things I've laughed
Maybe
at really.
it's a matter of practicing.
Yeah,
You must try
maybe some
to
stuff's
watch
easier than
more to
others.
keep in touch more.
Yeah, I have enjoyed a couple of comedies. One thing I really like, but it's been spoiled for me now, is the Cavalinhos on Gordo Fantástico, something I've enjoyed since I could barely understand Portuguese. But now Tadeu Schmidt's left, and I don't like Escobar. He's not as good. That's it. Escobar ruined it.
But let me say something. He's not funny.
Escobar or Schmidt.
A little bit.
Tadeu Schmidt's okay. Yeah.
He's not funny. He tries, but he's not.
When he's got his Cavalinho guys, he is. Now he's with Big Brother. It's not. I don't know. I keep listening in. I keep thinking when my wife's watching Big Brother, I'm like, you know what made Big Brother better? Cavalinhos. I don't know how they could incorporate Cavalinhos into it, but it's necessary.
They run it to be the leader of the championship.
Yeah. They could make a Cavalinho version of everybody in the Big Brother house. That would make it better. But yeah, try to remember what that film I watched with my wife was. Something, I don't remember his name. It was about a guy who was, you said Camelo, but it'd be a market trader in English, would say market trader. Turns out his biological father was the owner of a big business, and he got a chunk of inheritance. Yeah, Tadeu is fantastic. Yeah, in the comments. Yeah, Tadeu is the man. Tadeu Schmidt or Schmidty brother, as Cavalier calls him. Yeah, Escobar ruined Dos de Fantástico. I stand by that statement.
But Escobar is for another program, no? Another show.
He's on Fantástico.
I don't watch TV. Oh yeah? No, I don't watch TV, especially global. But
yeah, the one thing on TV I watched all week was I'd wait for the Cavaliers to be on Fantástico, and I've been very disappointed by Escobar since Tadeu Schmidt.
Fantastic goals.
Yeah. It's the highlights of the football I'd watch anyway, whether it had Cavaliers or not. But the Cavaliers are the best part.
Good moment. The little horses. I'm Bahia, and Bahia is on second division now, so I'm not followed this year.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting for Bahia returns to the first division. I'm praying for that.
We've got somebody here that's got a Google search of Wagner Moura. We've mentioned the guy. People
I cannot read what they are talking. Okay. Is there any question for us to?
Something. Somebody said something here. Unfortunately, he's now involved with Big Brother. Yeah. It's about Tadeo. Yeah. Yeah, he's unfortunate. He's on Big Brother now. Big Brother's not something I watch. And it's really why he couldn't do that, and he don't need to do all Fantastico. Just to do the Cavaliers at the end. The rest of it, I never paid attention to much anyway.
Just the little horses.
Yeah, I want to see the little horses. I particularly liked the World Cup 2018 when they had the Russian one. I would say vodka Smirnoff Stroganoff. I just say that. That was all he'd say. And they've got and when it was the Women's World Cup, they had an Eggwood as well, so they had the female horsey, and that was good creativity. And they also have the Qatar one with the tea towel on his head. You won't get away with doing that in England. Somebody would be saying it was racist there, but I think it was quite funny. See the little Arab horsey.
It's like a stereotype.
Yeah. Anybody that's taking the little horsey puppet seriously probably probably should look at their own life a bit more instead of complaining about it, if that was the case. But yeah, that's
it.
yeah. There's a couple of there's Salafrios, I think it is, or something like that. It's on Netflix. It's quite a funny film. I don't remember the name of the one I watched with my wife at the weekend. It was quite good as well. I did describe it a bit earlier, but we not good at remembering film names. But yeah, I do intend to be able to watch more Brazilian comedies and actually understand the jokes better.
That's right. There is a guy called Whindersson Nunes. Try to watch his.
I've watched one of his stand-up comedies. There was one really, 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 really funny joke. The rest of it was poor. I've seen what's his name? Felipe Neto. I've seen one of his stand-up gigs. I think there was one or two jokes that were funny, and the rest of it was terrible. So from the stand-up comedy I've seen with subtitles, there's a couple of really good jokes, and a lot of it's terrible. There is a program my wife and I have watched is it Beastmaster Brazil? They have Rafinha Bastos and Anderson Silva, the MMA fighter. They do sort of commentary for Brazil. There's people from all these other countries that have these people doing this assault course. It's kind of silly, all the commentary. I expect Anderson Silva to be funny. But Rafinha Bastos is a comedian, apparently, and it's quite funny, some of the stuff he said on it. And some of the things he did as well.
Yeah. Are you able to handle with Brazilian puns? Can you understand Brazilian puns?
Sometimes.
Just a little bit. There is a YouTube channel called Castro Brothers, and there is a competition, a puns competition. So try to handle, because when I try to teach English, I use puns in English to teach, because if my students understand puns, for example, there's the famous puns. Why number 6 fears number 7?
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9. So, this is funny. They understand that.
One Brazilian one I remember. They saw it on this. It was a Christmas film, Christmas comedy, a Brazilian one. Tudo bem Natal que vem. So next Christmas, maybe watch that. It's good. There's one of the guy's uncles. Every time he arrives on Christmas Day, he has the dessert pavê, and it's pavê ou pra comer. That's the Brazilian. That's a very cheesy.
This is the worst one. This is what we call here tiozão joke.
Yeah,
the tiozão joke.
we have a thing we say in English that's something's a dad joke, a really terrible cheesy joke that you laugh at anyway. Usually, that'd be what we'd call a dad joke. So sometimes
I like to use them to teach English. Jokes and puns.
Yeah, I think really, really cheesy, terrible jokes are quite good for learning languages because they're a bit easier to understand.
If you have some, send me.
Some cheesy dad jokes. I think I've seen a video where there's two guys that are trying to do a competition for who can't laugh. So you'd be like, you make the other person laugh, you win. And they take it in turns to tell each other dad jokes, so they're really terrible jokes. And I used to try keep a straight face, so you try like, I'm not laughing. But because you're trying to force yourself not to laugh, these terrible jokes end up being funny for the first time in your life. So you can probably find a video of people doing a dad joke competition where they tell each other these terrible cheesy dad jokes back and forth until somebody laughs.
Yeah, so sad. Let me ask just the last one, the last one. I don't know if you know. What is the largest word in English language? Do you know?
Don't remember the answer to this one.
The word is miles. Why? Miles.
Miles.
Because there is 1 mile between the first and the last S.
Yeah.
So this is a joke.
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it. Gareth, who is here on the chat?
Uh, there's quite a few people here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this
Bayer
too.
tries.
This,
Oh, wait a minute. What's they saying about Bayer? Well, somebody said something about Bayer. Bayer tries to be part of the south of Brazil. I don't know why.
yeah, me neither.
Why does I don't understand that question. How's Bahia trying to be part of the south of Brazil?
I have no idea. Maybe I don't know. Why? What did they
Uh,
say?
they didn't say anything after that. We got some KKKs, but it's more than three Ks, which is important for English speakers. Your Ks for laughing sounds. Got to have more than three or less than three, just to not be accused of being a Nazi.
Yeah,
Yeah, de
I
Nazaré
try.
das
I
Farinhas
try to.
para Mundo Parabéns Tito.
This is my hometown. Nazaré is my hometown. I was born there. It's the place that I bring in my heart forever, wherever I go, wherever I do. I was born there, and I will be back there when I die to rest my body there. Nazaré
Okay.
is my hometown.
So it's not
Yeah.
Nazaré near Fonte Nova. It's another place.
No, Nazaré is Fonte Nova is the street here, the neighborhood. Nazaré das Farinhas is my hometown.
Ah.
Is the place
How
that
far away is it?
I was born there, and who said congratulations, Chito? Maybe who is it?
Leonardo Reis Bass. Or Bass.
Oh yeah, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Is the bass player. He plays Iron Maiden perfectly. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very quite good bass player.
Okay. Yeah, I was
Thank
wondering
you, my
whether that was
bro.
Bass or Bass at the end. Leonardo Reis. So, yeah. That's what we've got. I don't know what that guy was talking about. Bahia trying to be the south of Brazil. Then people can look at a map and see that's not. Bahia don't want to be part of Nordeste. I think Bahia is part of Nordeste. I never heard anybody doesn't want to be part of the Northeast.
No, of course, no. This Bahia is part of Northeast. We
That's
are part of Northeast.
Arujo Alexandra. It's my opinion. Arujo Alex. Okay.
I don't know. Why does she think they do that way? I don't know. We are from Northeast. I don't know.
It's like one of the biggest parts of it as well.
I don't know. Yeah, no idea.
I don't know. It's
her opinion.
Yeah, no, an opinion I really understand. Alexandra, you want to say in the chat why you think people in Bahia, are you from Bahia? Do you think other people in Bahia are saying this, or have you got some idea based on nothing, really? Are you from another part of the Northeast and want rid of Bahia? I don't know.
Maybe the way that we speak, we don't use some aspect of the language that, for example, the Northeast use. We in Northeast use like we say gia, we don't say dia, chia, tia. Maybe these aspects, but this language, I don't know. I don't believe that. What is quite important is the way that you keep the traditions. So we keep our traditions here,
Yeah.
And we are part of Northeast, and we are proud about that. So
yeah,
the reasons why.
Yeah, I'm from Recife.
She's from Recife is okay. They are. I lived in Recife. I have lived in Recife for 4 years. So Recife is an amazing place. They are brothers and sisters there. So I don't know the reasons why. We are from Northeast, and we are proud about that.
I've not yet been to
The specific
Recife. It's on my list of places to visit.
is
Recife and
is a
Olinda.
wonderful place.
Uh,
Is a wonderful
the,
place.
maybe if there
Um,
hadn't been a pandemic, maybe I'd have been there already. But it's quite high up on my list of places to visit. Is Pernambuco. I do want to explore more of the
yeah,
northeast. So far, I've been in not that much of Bahia.
yeah. You should.
Probably in a
You should.
Virgin.
You should.
Been to Aracaju. Not got any further than that. We managed to drive there. I did like Aracaju. Uh, it would have been another few hours in the car to get all the way to the Recife. But yeah, some I don't know why I thought that, but you know, I don't know exactly what Recife is like until I visit.
It's
It's on the
perfect.
list.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Many beaches. It's like Salvador. Many beaches. Historical places like Olinda. You know,
Yeah, that was one of the
amazing
places I
place.
wanted to go.
So yeah, I
I
don't
love
know
Bahia.
why they think that we are not part of Northeast. We are, and we
He
are proud
said,
about that.
he said Bahia doesn't want to be part of it. Northeast. Not sure about that, but you know, I don't think you have a choice. Your geographical location stays as it is. Hear that many people back in Britain saying they don't want to be part of Europe. I know there's the EU as
Yeah,
an issue. You're part of Europe in Britain because it's a continent. So, you know, where you are is where you are. And yeah,
yeah, we are. We are. That's it. All right, man. So many.
it's quite
What
strange
what is
because
what is quite important is you be proud of what you are. So it doesn't matter the place. As I told you, why did I choose English to communicate? Because English is the lingua franca. You know, we can say the term lingua franca nowadays. So lingua franca, Latin was lingua franca once. Now English is the lingua franca. So I can talk the world using English language. So, but
yeah,
I am Roberto Índio from Nazaré das Farinhas. I'm Bahia. I eat caruru and acarajé, but I sing heavy metal and I speak English. So it doesn't mean that I am not from Bahia, that I don't belong here. I belong here. This is my place. The language I use to communicate myself to the world is just a key to do that. And it's just a tool to do that. So I'm so proud of being Baiano, and I'm so proud to be indigenous. So I'm the first Brazilian here. So, and I'm proud because I can keep a conversation with a guy from England, you know, be a friend of a guy from England as you, Gareth. So, you know, so the world life gives us the opportunities to increase, to improve, and we must embrace the opportunities and try to be better. So, geography is not the so important in my opinion.
uh,
So I love
they say that in the
Recife. I love
USA, but then
places
they don't know
northeast.
any geography. I think
Yeah.
where you're from, I consider myself a bit of a citizen of the world. It's so many people have interest in going to my country or being there, living there. You don't understand why until you've been somewhere else. And a lot of people born and raised in England don't stop complaining about the place. Uh, Take for granted the infrastructure we've got was better before the government, terrible governments we've had over the last 10 years started destroying things. But to have the infrastructure we have, um, to have some of the cultural aspects we have, to have the music we've got, the films we've got, the TV, the comedians we have. There's a lot of things like that. And as much as you could spend a lot of time being ashamed of bad people being from our country, which there isn't a shortage of, absolutely not. For every colonial monster we've had a genius scientist, had creations that have furthered humanity. For every idiot politician, there's a playwright. For every psychopath. There's somebody that's done something very important, you know. There's somebody like Florence Nightingale. When you talk about the great people countries act, you could argue she's possibly the most important woman ever. She pretty much revolutionized modern nursing, and she's not celebrated enough in history, and she's more to be proud of than 90% of what's in our country's history that's in our school books, and that's more important. It was the creation of the National Health Service. I think it was probably one of the first of its kind, the public health system. Like the SUS in Brazil, but it's a bit better funded, a bit more appropriate in size. It's the same idea, though. It's fundamentally the same thing. Just I think the SUS in Brazil needs a lot more money and a lot more resources, but the idea is the perfect idea. There's the creatives and some of the scientists we've had as a country are things that are more of a source of pride than some of these nationalist idiots that pretty much internationally embarrass us. It's quite embarrassing to read news or seeing news things and seeing that terrible prime minister that's an embarrassment to our country representing us. And then I've got to see,
we know what he's talking about.
Yeah. It's pretty much, I feel like I'm being represented by two of the worst possible people to be represented by. There's my homeland being represented by one, and the country of residence being represented by another. And it's less than ideal, you know. The amount of good people from a country that will be ignored because of a political leader being a terrible person, you know. I don't like being judged as a British person on Boris Johnson. Absolutely not. That racist lying sack of custard doesn't speak for this British person. You know.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? You'll be judged by the person, by someone else's actions.
That's who speaks for the country. Yeah, those points of views, unfortunately, are a bit too mainstream in the country, but there are a lot of people against it. We've got an oi, Bia Arujo, an oi for you too. There's somebody here, Ningen Dovali. Angel plays Denji Metal. I'm proud of him. Dende Metal.
Dende Metal. Dende, what's the oil they prepare acarajé to eat? Dende. Is that fruit? They're ready on to prepare the oil to fry acarajé.
Yeah.
Dende. So it's in the blood. It's like a symbol for us in here.
Yeah.
Dende Metal. It's a Baiano way to play heavy metal. So they say Dende Metal.
Yeah. Guys, I've got to go. Thanks for the night, guys. I'm a bigger student.
Who else? Any questions for us to finish?
Okay, Alexander. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's good to hear different point of views, and it's good to see that somebody in a state that I've not yet been to is watching my live. That's pretty cool. Sometime. My wife and I have both spoken already about visiting Pernambuco sometime. Just a little scared of sharks, so you need to be careful of your beach selection. I've heard about that. Better to check out where has the sharks before you get your leg bitten off. But I think it's a bit. Also Pernambuco, some good music there. I do quite like.
You should know maracatu. Maracatu is a tradition from there. Maracatu.
I'll have to check that out.
The kind of music.
Yeah. Big fan of Gonzaga. Always get a bit of Gonzaga out on São João. Alceu Valença is a Pernambuco as well, and Pernambucano as well.
Yeah, they are.
As
you should check it. Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, the sound of Savage, that's the sound of Savage Wow, isn't it? Very good party, that.
Maracatu is not like forró, but it's tradition from there as well. They use main drums. They play drums. They have a traditional dance, and they sing. Yeah, there is a singer, and he's no more between us because he died years ago, called Chico Sainz, and he made a mixture using rock, pop rock, and maracatu. It was amazing.
Have to give that a listen. Getting a growing list of things to put into Google and YouTube as we go. So it's quite cool.
I can send you. Yeah, you can send it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to give that a good listen.
You should invite anyone from Pernambuco to this live.
Yep.
You should invite a person from there to talk better about their culture. I know I live there, but it's better for them to speak.
Nassau Zombie. I think I've heard a bit of Nassau Zombie.
Nação Zumbi, yeah. Nação Zumbi. That's it.
Yeah.
Zombie Nation.
Yeah.
Translate to English.
I think there is a band called Zombie Nation. That's an English language band. But this zombie is a reference to Zombie dos Palmares.
It's a historical reference, yeah.
Yeah. I think the Zombie Nation in Britain is, I don't know if it's British or American, that one, but I think it's more about living dead zombies rather than figures historical significance.
Yeah, totally. And they have this mixture of tradition and sound. It's much rich, so you should research about it.
Yeah. One of the good things about doing so much work online and using social media, I've made contact with people in all parts of Brazil nearly. There's a guy I talked to in Berlin. There's a guy I know in Paraná. I talked to quite a lot. There's places I've actually been to and know people.
What is quite amazing is we are speaking English. So, English can unite the world, can unite different point of views.
Yeah.
We can keep thoughts with people because we know English, because we learn English. So that's it. It's quite important, man. As there is no there are no boundaries to English. There are no flags. Sorry, Gary, but there are no flags. So there is no British English and North American English. English is meaning to the world.
If the language was just an English British language, it'd only be in Britain. There would be people speaking outside.
That's it.
So it happens. The dialects of English are very different. One thing that does annoy me quite a bit, I see a lot of, it's non-native teachers doing this. Not digging out all non-native teachers. Do you prefer American or British accents? What do I mean British accents? There's more than 50 different British accents, and they all sound completely different. In my family, there's 5 or 6 different languages. Yeah. You've got regional accents change in Britain. If you drive 20 minutes down the road, people sound different. What people are really meaning when they say that is received pronunciation, which is it's the way the Queen would speak. It's often called the Queen's English. Or people who have been privately educated, which isn't me, by the way. So it's kind of devoid of somebody's actual culture. So the received pronunciation of people says a default British accent. Less than 1% of British people speak this way. You need to be privately educated or be part of the monarchy or something like this to speak like this. Private school, grammar school, you are taught to... For example, listening to the Queen is very good for English learners because she speaks slowly, clearly, 0 grammatical error. It doesn't happen. The kind of difference you get with English language in different parts of Britain is the place's cultural identity. It's the regional slang, the regional words, regional pronunciation. it's people who
the rhythm of the language.
yeah, there's people who've never even been to Britain telling British people what is British and isn't. No, you're talking about our elites. You're making a generalization that we're all like the Queen. We're not. She's a multi-millionaire that's never met a normal British person. She's not.
Yeah.
She's the figurehead of the country, but she's not typical of what we are. If you listen to the Arctic Monkeys as a band, you'll hear a lot more of my regional identity than you will elsewhere. What's really special
Are
about
they
them,
from London? No,
Sheffield.
they don't have.
They're from Sheffield, which is a city in South Yorkshire. There's a famous actor from there called Sean Bean. He always dies in films, and he says bastard a lot. And that might have lost me any chance of monetizing this video in the future, but never mind. It's South Yorkshire, so they even sound a little bit different to me. Because even within Yorkshire, my region of England, there's a little bit of accent variety. But what's really special about them, aside from the creativity with music they actually have, the lyrics they have are very, very good and creative. But it's very culturally and regionally relevant to people like me. There's a few songs where they say the word summit, which is something you won't hear outside of my region of England. It's a real English word. It's not in the Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah.
So it's not
My
real.
wife loves it. I'm not so familiar, but my wife likes.
Yeah, you need to listen to some of their albums with her and learn some good, real Yorkshire English. So this word summit is something.
That is your accent.
Yeah, that's one of the things. There's a song they've got called Mardy Bum. The word Mardy means sort of grumpy, but that's a word you won't really hear not even in all of England. Some people in England have maybe only heard that word in that song, because people don't say it in other bits of England. I think maybe some of the West Midlands they might say it as well, but it's a Yorkshire word. And there's a part that says when you've got the face on. When someone's got the face on, it means they're angry. They've got their angry face on. So this song is another one of the songs, and they describe what life is like in some of the poorer neighbourhoods in their region. And a lot of people, especially their early music was more this way, the first two albums, they've moved away from describing basing estates in Sheffield to having songs about other things. But they use quite a bit.
It's a place to visit when I go there. I'm not sure I go there.
I'm not sure what there is to do in Sheffield, to be honest, but you can get a good pint of beer in a pub there. But yeah,
you're gonna say him the places to visit there. So it's up to you to tell me.
As a music fan, you obviously everyone goes to London, so there's no point recommending it. People are going there anyway.
Birmingham, maybe.
Birmingham's a city of heavy metal. I imagine you'd like it there.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people have snobby ideas about Birmingham, but it has had its fair share of great rock bands, that region of England. It's not particularly touristy, but you can say this is the hometown of the Prince of Darkness. Any heavy metal fan should maybe visit there. Many people will go to Liverpool. As so many Beatles fans go to Liverpool. Manchester's probably one of the most significant music cities we've got. Not so much for heavy metal, but a lot more Brazilian rock music is based on sort of Manchester's music scene. Bands like the Smiths, the Stone Roses, Happy Mondays. They were the big influence on Legião Urbana, this type of Brazilian band. Very much like the Manchester early indie bands, the post-punk movement in Britain. That was more northwest England rather than the heavy metal that was the West Midlands, so a bit further south. My region's not a massively musical region, but we're not really that far away from Manchester, as much as it's a
Yeah.
rival city in terms of football and stuff like that. But we do have two
Yeah.
bands in my city,
It's quite
the
important.
Kaiser Chiefs and the Pigeon Detectives. So they're not as good as the Arctic Monkeys, but they're similar in style to their earlier stuff. So they're indie rock bands. I imagine if you're a Brazilian rock music fan, you probably do like stuff like most of the Brazilian rock I've heard sounds
I know
very
that.
much like a lot of the stuff from Manchester in the 80s and 90s. So there is a lot of bands in this style.
Ninguém do Vale is saying that Liverpool as well. João is my friend. João,
Yeah,
good to see you here, man.
yeah. Liverpool is a.
Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, I think after the Beatles, they don't really have anything that significant. Like I think Manchester's probably better for music as a on the whole. When you've got Oasis are huge and probably equivalent stature of the Beatles, but more modern, my era. I'm obviously too young to remember the Beatles, as you can tell. But there's been the list of bands from Manchester is a lot longer. Not necessarily as good as the Beatles, but there's a longer list of good bands. So yeah, we do. I think that's one thing that's sort of spread our country. There's a lot of people interested in our country because of our music. That's something I realised more leaving. I didn't think our music would be the first thing people would say about us. I thought people would say we created football. I thought that'd be a bigger deal. I imagined it would be, but it's not. I think a lot of Brazilians take it for granted that it exists and don't think it came from England, but it did. We created football and then didn't improve enough at the sport, and yeah, let other countries get better than us at it. So that happened. I've spent most of my life being embarrassed and let down by our football national team. You Brazilians don't realise how lucky you are to have had so many great national teams. 2018 is the first time I remember not being embarrassed or humiliated by my team, my international team. So I was...
The last good team you have, it was 2002.
I remember.
2006 as well, but... Yeah.
2002 won. I remember the quarter final was it England against Brazil. I say this now. That England team was the second best team in that World Cup. We just played the best team and lost. But that Germany team I got to the final were terrible. We beat them 5-1 a few months before that World Cup away.
That Ronaldinho Gaúcho's goal.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I did get it was a teacher training day, so I had a day off school when this game was. It was in the morning. So I remember this was the time before I'd kind of worked out that England will always let you down every 4 years, well, every 2 years, because they do it in the Euros as well. So this was when I still had the naive thought that England might win a World Cup. So we got a draw against Sweden. We always draw against Sweden. I don't know why. We always draw with Sweden. It just happens. So we drew with Sweden. We then beat Argentina. David Beckham got his redemption. We beat Argentina, and that pretty much knocked him out of the World Cup. And yeah, that's okay to mention that with Brazilians. They find this funny too. Then we got a draw, which is all we needed. I do believe it was against Nigeria. I think it was Nigeria. Then we beat Denmark 3-0. Denmark are always decent, so it's a good result to beat them 3-0.
But they have a good team as well.
Yeah. Then we played Brazil, and this was with Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Gilberto Silva, Rivaldo, Ronaldo Fenomeno, or Fat Ronaldo as he's been called more in England.
Double Ronaldo.
Ronaldinho. I didn't know much about Ronaldinho before this. I did after this game, but yeah.
That was impossible to for you to win.
I was getting carried away and excited. I thought we were winning the World Cup when Michael Owen got that goal and we took the lead. I was like, yes, we're going to win the World Cup. It's going to be 5-1 like when we beat Germany in Munich before the World Cup. And I've seen back a video recently of there's a Rivaldo goal that was the equaliser, and David Beckham jumps out of the way, and then Ronaldinho runs up half the pitch and passes to Rivaldo. Nobody was blaming David Beckham in England for this. And that mistake was as bad as David Seaman, the goalkeeper, got absolutely hammered by everybody because Ronaldinho chipped over his head. Yeah. But everybody should have gone in on David Beckham there. It's because he was at fault for us losing in '98 against Argentina. Yeah. He got sent off for kicking Diego Simeone, and then we ended up losing on penalties. That was after Michael Owen had dribbled through the whole Argentina team and scored. So we'd have won that game if he didn't get sent off, I think. The whole country blamed him then. And then he got the goal against Greece to qualify for a World Cup, a free kick, right in the top corner. And then he got that goal against Argentina. So England had forgiven him. But I just noticed now as a video, it's a 50-50 ball. It kind of jumps up out the way. Ronaldinho gets the ball and runs away. I'm like, that was David Beckham's fault, that first goal, that equaliser. He jumped out of the way. Yeah. He should have just kicked Ronaldinho really hard and got a yellow card. Or should have took a kick in and not let him break away. I think it's Nicky Butt, the defensive midfielder, should have flattened him, took a yellow card. Should have just gone flying in, and if he'd have got a red card and flying in, England would have won the game. And they'd have won the next one, because everyone else was better in Brazil. So yeah, I blame David Beckham and whoever was defensive midfield, as well as David Seaman. We were the second best team.
Great team. Beckham, Owen. How was the position that you finished that World Cup?
That was
third place.
We lost the quarterfinals against Brazil in 2002, and then after that it was only worse. We got into a bit of a habit in major tournaments of losing against Portugal on penalties. So that was yeah. So yeah,
I'm sorry for that.
There's a whole heap of there's a whole heap of disappointments.
Was the last one, the last strong national team that we had. 2006 as well, we had a strong team, but we lost against France. But 2002, it was almost impossible to combat, to win.
Yeah. I've got Ningem de Valle here. Who do you think was the greatest of all time, Pele or Maradona? You'll not hear one Englishman saying Maradona. It's obviously Pele. Anyway. Just realising the time, we've been going a bit longer than expected. Thank you
it's time to.
Thank you for everybody who's watched.
For being right here.
You're welcome. And I'll have another guest arranged for in about a week or so. And hope you've all enjoyed the live. A bit longer than expected, but it's no problem. I'll see you all next time. Have a nice rest of the week and weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Arif. It was my pleasure, my honor. Bye-bye. See you. Hi, people. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.